Welcome to the AI for You Cafe for live presentations around AI. Today, the speaker is Bhagirath Kumalada. He's the Chief Manager, Business Information System at GAIL, GAIL Limited, a global oil and gas company in India. So I'm very pleased to welcome my speaker from New Delhi, not in Delhi, New Delhi, I heard. And
thank you.
His talk, hi, yeah. And with his talk on artificial intelligence essential for business leaders. My name is Carmen McWilliams, and I'm the moderator and organizer. I'm the director of the company Grassroots Arts, and I'm partner with my company in the European project AI for EU. Please take notice that the session will be recorded. No confidential information shall be shared in this cafe session. In this cafe, the speaker expresses his personal view and opinion. This is not necessarily the official AI for You project opinion or company opinion or an organizational opinion. So what is the cafe about? The Web Cafe offers a series of live web sessions around AI. Participants get the chance to share knowledge and experiences and meet stakeholders from various areas of AI research and applications. And as we know now, not only we meet European AI experts, but also from India today. So I'm very, very happy. And this is an interactive session. So welcome to you all, to all the participants out there. I'm great that you're here. Please write your questions to the speaker in the control panel on the right side. There's like a chat for questions. You can type them in, and after the presentation, I will read them to the speaker. And now we're coming to the main point of this cafe. I will now introduce Bhagirath, and afterwards I give him the moderator role, and we start with the presentation. So Bhagirath Kumlala from India is a computer science graduate from the Indian Institute of Technology in Delhi and a PGDM from the Indian Institute of Management, Lucknow. Currently, he's working as chief manager in the Business Information System at GAIL India Limited, a global AI and gas company. His role in the organization is that of a digital transformation strategist. So it's really a pleasure to have you here and an honor. Thank you. So again, welcome, Bhagirath.
Thank you, Carmen ma'am. And it is a pleasure for me to be part of AI for You Cafe. And let me, I want to thank you and all the other organizers who are part of this arrangement. And I take this opportunity to thank each one who has helped me to be here, especially those who are attending this webinar. So let us start with today's talk. It is on artificial intelligence essentials for business leaders. And I believe all of you are business leaders who would like to know about the technology. So agenda for today's talk is motivation, why this particular topic is important, analytics journey, breaking the analytics wall, artificial intelligence essentials, where we learn about different aspects of what AI is. Then we discuss machine learning with deep learning. Then we discuss AI hype versus reality. And then we discuss business applications along with some important considerations. So let me start. But first of all, I would like to share with all of you that this information shared in this particular talk are my own opinions, and they do not reflect that of my employer or any other organization. So we all are part of Sorry, just this screen has come up. Let me start again, sorry. So we all are part of organizations where analytics is being used. And traditionally, analytics, when we discuss, it has four components or four part of analytics journey. First is descriptive, and second is diagnostic, third is predictive, and fourth is prescriptive. And this particular aspect is important in the sense that we all make reports, we all are know, I mean, we know about dashboards and those kind of things. So these are part of descriptive analytics. Diagnostics we may call, you know, where we ask the question why. So for example, root cause analysis. So there we have drill down reports, or we have those kind of information available where we can find the reason behind, you know, what has happened. Similarly, we have predictive, where we can predict the future, and then we have prescriptive, where not only we predict, but system also gives us the needed action that we need to take. Here there is an analytics wall which has been observed by many of the business analysts. So most of the organizations, they are focusing on descriptive analytics, and it is very difficult, you know, to move from descriptive analytics to predictive and prescriptive. And here this particular role of AI becomes very important, because when it comes predictive and prescriptive, and later on we talk about another aspect of analytics journey, so AI becomes important in this scenario. So what is the modern way to look our analytics journey? Modern way is that after prescriptive, there is a concept of decision automation, and this decision automation can be done with the help of AI. Today we have technologies available with us which can help us in decision automation. So let us discuss what AI is, what are the basic ideas. So first of all, we discuss what cognitive capability are. Let me just um, this hide the control bar here. Yeah, I hope you are still able to see my screen. So cognitive ability, we define the ability to reason, ability to solve problems, ability for planning, abstract thinking, complex idea comprehension, and learning from experience. And intelligence is a measure to find out how much of these cognitive abilities one has. Now, AI is a very old subject. There has been thinkers who have been thinking about this subject, not in terms of computers, but in terms of getting agents which can work like humans. So Aristotle, oldest thinker, so they thought such things like what are basic cognitive operations, what necessary conditions should a formal language fulfill in order to be an adequate tool for describing the world in a precise and unambiguous way? Can reasoning be automated? Is it possible to construct an artificial intelligence system? So these are the questions which thinkers, philosophers, and scientists have been asking for long. So what is AI? AI, or machine intelligence, is a set of related technologies that seem to emulate human thinking and action. So both are required, thinking and action, as humans. It is about building machines or agents which are capable of thinking and acting like humans. So what typically AI systems have, they can learn from experience, they can arrive at their own conclusions, they appear to understand the complex real world use case or scenario, they can participate in natural language conversation, and they have cognitive capabilities like learning and problem solving. So that is what AI is. AI definitions are generally categorized in four categories, and this is taken from one of the very good reference books on AI. So this is thinking humanly, thinking as acting humanly, thinking rationally, and acting rationally. So these four ways we can define AI, and all the research work till today, which we will discuss in detail, have focused in these four areas. We take the definition of AI as computational intelligence. It is the study and design of intelligent agents. So that is what we take the definition as. Acting humanly is the first approach. It was it was pioneered by Turing, and Turing gave operational definition of AI. There is this video in YouTube available. You can see this imitation game trailer. So there they talk about what AI can do. So here he defined in this particular imitation game, there is a human interrogator, then there is a human and AI on the other side. And if the human interrogator cannot find out whether the AI system is answering the question or human is answering the question, then that AI system is supposed to be intelligent. So what capabilities it should have? Then these four capabilities, which are colored in different way. So these are the essential capabilities. So natural language processing, knowledge representation, automated reasoning, machine learning. And then two augmented capabilities are required, like computer vision and robotics. So these make almost a complete system, which we can call intelligent. Thinking humanly is a approach where we say that we want to understand how humans think. So how do we know how humans think? So that can be through introspection, it can be through psychological experiments, it can be through brain imaging. So more we have these improvements or insights in these technologies, better we will be able to design systems which can think like humans. Then there is a very important concept in AI, it is called rationality. So a system is rational if it does the right thing, given what it knows. Now this right thing is very important because we have to define for the system what the right thing is. So thinking rationally, it is laws of thought approach. Here it was Aristotle was one of the first to codify the logic, and later on lot of logical systems have been developed, lot of logical methods have been developed for systems to become intelligent. So what kind of thinking rationally agent would do? Like it will have a information, Socrates is a man, and then it has another information, all men are mortal. So then it will conclude that Socrates is mortal. So this is thinking rationally approach. And then acting rationally, this is the final approach. So here all computers program do something, like they can operate autonomously, perceive their environment, persist over a prolonged time period, adapt to change, create and pursue goals. So we need a rational agent that acts so as to achieve the best outcome. So that is acting rationally. And this is one of the very important paradigms in AI, as we see later. So what are rational agents? Because computer knows mathematics, it knows 0 or 1, and it knows mathematical functions. So we can say that AI agent is a function, and what this function does, it maps this precepts to actions. So that is how we can understand a real AI system. AI has two goals. One goal is driven by industry, and here we want to have expert systems. Second goal is driven by academia. They want to do research, and they want to make machines which act, think, behave like humans. History of AI, the concept of AI, you can say some kind of machine intelligence, started from 1923. The word robot came into being. Then 1943, we came up with the concept of neural networks, artificial neural networks. So McClock and Pitts, they have done the foundational work. And then Alan Turing in 1950, he has done a foundational work. Then there many of the systems started being developed. So Alan Neville and Herbert Simon, they were great AI researchers. So they developed the system logic theories. Then 1956, John McCarthy coined the term artificial intelligence. And 1959, this machine learning was introduced as a term by one of the IBM engineers. And a lot of developments happened after that, like shaky robot and those kind of other similar things. Then in 1990s, we can see a lot of advancements happening in algorithms. So a lot of algorithms were developed and a lot of advancements happened in these particular areas like case-based reasoning, multi-agent planning, scheduling, data mining, natural language understanding, translation, vision, virtual reality, and games. And after 1997 was a landmark when Deep Blue computer of IBM, it defeated the world chess champion, Garry Kasparov. And after that, a lot of developments have happened. And the latest being development of AI poker bot, which defeated the multiplayer, which defeated human professionals in a multiplayer game. So we can see a lot of developments have happened in AI over the years. There are two paradigms in AI. One is symbolic view, which talks about logic and other things, and it is now called good old-fashioned AI. And second is connectionist view, which is based, inspired on by human brain. So here we have artificial neural network, and this comes from psychology, and this particular scientist, Edward Thorndike, he was a pioneer in this particular thinking that this concept called connectionism. So he said that when which states that behavioral responses to a specific stimuli are established through a process of trial and error that affects the neural connections between the stimuli and the most satisfying responses. We discussed this in detail when we discussed deep learning. So how do we represent AI? We represent it using machine learning, robotics, search, fuzzy logic, expert systems, and NLP. There is another concept called weak AI and strong AI. So weak AI is something like Alexa, where we have a limited AI intelligence capability, and strong intelligence is where we have multiple intelligence capability in a single agent. And there is a new term which is called artificial general intelligence. So here it is much like strong AI. There we talk about AI being able to, defeat or reach human level performance in multiple intellectual tasks. So we come to the most important aspect of AI, which is machine learning, because today when we say AI, we typically mean either search or machine learning. So machine learning is a foundational concept in AI. And what is machine learning? A computer program is set to learn from experience E with respect to some class of task T and performance measure P if its performance at task T as measured by P improves with experience E, which means given the data, algorithm finds out the logic how that data has been generated. Meaning, once we have more and more data, we can find out the underlying logic in a better way. So the system learns from experience. So when the next iteration of training runs, the system becomes more intelligent. That is what machine learning is all about. Machine learning has three types. Typically, in our understanding, we divide them in supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. In supervised learning, we have algorithm which works on data as well as on label. So we are given both the things. So there are two types of tasks that supervised learning algorithms can do. One is classification and other is prediction. So some of the algorithms like support vector machine, naive Bayes, naive Bayes classifier, linear regression, logistic regression, they are all machine learning, supervised machine learning algorithms. They need data as well as they need a label. So both the things are required, data and the target. So once we feed into system both the data as well as the ground truth or the target or the label, then system learns that this means that. So that is how the supervised learning algorithms work. Unsupervised learning algorithms work without providing any label. We do not label the data. We do not say that this data is, say category X, category Y. We simply give the data to the algorithm, and algorithm automatically finds out the pattern in the data. So for example, here we can see in this particular picture that different kinds of fruits are given to the system. System learns that there are different kinds of fruit, and then when we give the test case to the system, it can automatically find out that there are three kinds of fruits in this particular data. So that is how unsupervised learning algorithms work. The clustering is a most common algorithm in unsupervised learning. Then there are other algorithms like principal component analysis. So these are all work without providing the label data to the system. Third and very important kind of machine learning algorithm is reinforcement learning. Here we give the algorithm a target. So algorithm has to achieve that target. It has to maximize the expected reward in a particular situation. And this is a very powerful algorithm, and a lot of applications are there for reinforcement learning. Deep learning is a specialized kind of machine learning where we have neural networks at the backend. So whenever neural networks are there in a particular machine learning algorithm, very likely it will be a deep learning algorithm. Deep learning is based on this connectionist paradigm, connectionist thought process, where we say that connections become strong when a favorable result comes, and they become weak when an unfavorable result comes. So this particular experiment was done by Edward Thorndike. So he saw that this connectionism is there in most of the animals, and they learn after some trials that how to find a pattern to get a particular result. So deep learning is based on connectionism. There are many algorithms for deep learning: convolutional neural network, then recurrent neural network, and they have their own applications. And latest algorithm in this particular thing is GPT-3. So you can read more about it in the internet. It is a very powerful algorithm. It can generate language just like humans, and it will be very difficult for you to find out whether it was written by a human being or a machine. So periodic table of AI is there are 7 different types of algorithms, and we have to use them in a particular scenario. We discuss this later when we discuss the applications. And these are the leading cloud AI platforms. So when it comes to business, we tend to overestimate the effect of a technology in a short run and underestimate the effect of the same technology in long run. So AI is one such technology. We have a lot of expectations from AI in a short run, but in a long run, we may not be so sure, what AI can give us. But this is going to be a revolutionary technology, as most of the people have thought. So let us discuss what AI can do. here is a Gartner hype cycle for AI 2020. So here we can see that AI, machine learning and deep learning, so they have crossed their peak of inflated expectation. And by between 2022 and 2025, we are going to find lots and lots of applications for these two technologies. Which industries are impacted by AI? We can see manufacturing, retail, logistics, BFSI, healthcare, legal services, advertising, aviation, then chemicals, education, agriculture, software development and cybersecurity, online shopping, sports, media and entertainment, call centers. Then we see energy utilities and mining, hospitality, intellectual property, IT services management, customer experience, fashion, automotive, fortune telling. So many industries are supposed to be impacted by AI, and there are other which are a lot of important applications are there in gaming, casino, pharma and drug discovery, law enforcement, materials discovery, defense, music industry, job search and recruitment. So we see, I think almost every industry is somehow or other, being impacted by AI. So let us discuss some use cases. But before we discuss use cases, what do we really want in a business scenario? We want to minimize risk and maximize the reward. That is the key principle whenever we are taking any business decision. So AI is mostly, like we can segregate the AI applications in three different areas. So one is process automation, second is cognitive insights, and third is cognitive engagement. And most of the applications of AI will be in any of these three areas. And when we think about new applications for AI, especially when we take the case of deep learning, so there will be some greenfield applications, then there will be a definite improvement scenario, and then there will be traditional analytics. So what research has found is that this definite improvement scenario will be the area where most of the deep learning applications will be. Typical view of global AI adoption, this is a survey, and in this survey 2737 IT and line of business executives participated in 2019. So we can see that 27% of them were starters, 47% skilled, and 26% seasoned. So typically such kind of scenario will be found in most of the economies. And here 9 countries were represented in this particular survey. So we can see AI can be used in classification, continuous estimation, clustering, optimization, machine vision, natural language, on anomaly detection, ranking, recommendation, and data generation. How can a company become a cognitive ready or cognitive mature company? First of all, we need to understand which technologies perform what kind of tasks. So we have seen what we can do with machine learning, what we can do with deep learning. So such kind of understanding is the foremost thing. Then we need to build on current strengths in big data and analytics. So this is a very important area where a lot of training is required, infrastructure development is required, and many a time we have to also get a group or analytics center of excellence kind of thing being created in the organization. So those are very important steps for strengthening the current setup. And then after that, we create a cognitive strategy. So what is a cognitive strategy? Where we prioritize portfolio of technology matched to processes and tasks. So we find out which are the tasks which can be, addressed with a particular kind of technological needs. And then we go for a series of pilot or proof of concept projects. And then we engage in cognitive work redesign using design thinking principle. And then we focus on scaling and achieving productivity benefits. So this scaling is very important. We should not be, left with the pilots or proof of concepts. Our project, whatever we are taking for AI, they should scale. So that is a very important requirement for a business AIs. So let us see some, scenarios where we can use AI. So does your business case require, predicting a continuous numeric value? For example, gas price in international market. That is what your business requires. So what will be the AI use case? You need regression, which is supervised learning. Now consider another scenario. Here we require predicting a class, category, or label. For example, a good piece or a defective piece. So what we will use here? We will use classification, supervised learning. Now, does your business case require creating groupings of similar data to understand the group profiles? For example, customer segmentation, where we need grouping. So here we need unsupervised learning. So we will be using some kind of clustering algorithm. Now consider another business case, identifying highly unusual or dangerous outliers. For example, network security, fraud, worker without helmets in a, like for example, in a plant, we want to detect those workers who are not wearing helmets in a helmet required areas. So you need anomaly. So we use unsupervised or supervised learning algorithm which can detect anomaly. Now consider this. We need personalizing your product, services, features, or content for customers. For example, Amazon, you see how they personalize their products. So what do we need? We need recommendation engines. We can need ranking or scoring, or we can need personalization. Now consider another case. What we need here? We need detect, label, or identify specific spatial, temporal, or spatio-temporal pattern. For example, in an audio or video, you want to detect, what happened in a video in a particular time or audio. So what do we need? Here we need unsupervised or supervised learning algorithm, and it can recognize image, audio, speech, video, handwriting, text. We need computer vision capabilities. So motion detection, gesture, expression, sentiment analysis, and we may need natural language processing. So such are the cases. Now let us discuss some business notable use cases. So first is Google. It is a technology company and it is one of the leaders in AI use cases. So what Google is using AI for? Maximizing the potential of artificial intelligence. So that is their motto. So they use it in personal assistant. They use it for language translation. They use it for self-driving cars, captioning millions of videos on YouTube, diagnose diseases. So they have a Google Health and Google Brain and DeepMind. Walt Disney Company, they are using AI and machine learning for making magical memories. That is their motto. So what do? They give their customers magic wristbands, which their customers are wearing throughout whenever they are visiting their parks, and then it can detect, where the customers are the customers segregated at a particular location, can we give them a personalized offer or voucher, or the person who is in charge of safety, he or she can observe where are the people located right now. So those kind of things are possible using machine learning. Now we consider BMW. BMW is using artificial intelligence to build and drive the cars of tomorrow or cars of the future. So what do they do? So they have done partnership with IBM, and they are using IBM Watson cognitive computing platform. And the idea is that the car could learn how to improve its understanding of driver behavior, and then adapts its system to suit personal preferences. By uploading all the data it gathers to the cloud, the system is able to build a vast database of user behaviors, and then use machine learning to anticipate the needs and preferences of other drivers. So what do the drivers do most? So those kind of things, those kind of questions you can answer using machine learning. Finally, this important aspect is there in AI, which is responsible AI, because AI is now affecting each and every aspect of our lives. For example, the way you drive from your home to office, you may use Google Maps or any other navigation system that is based on AI. Or when you apply for job, your jobs are mostly, your resumes are shortlisted using AI algorithms. When you go to doctor for a particular treatment, if the healthcare is advanced, then they will use AI systems to detect a particular disease or particular condition in your health. So AI is now affecting each and every area in our lives. So this particular concept, responsible AI, has become very important. And we just discussed three frameworks for responsible AI. First is by Microsoft. So Microsoft has said that AI systems should have these checks and balances. So first is fairness, second is reliability and safety, third is privacy and security, fourth is inclusiveness, then we have transparency, and then accountability. So all these are part of a responsible AI framework. And any AI, when we just miss any of the part, then the AI may not be that useful as it should be. So this is one very important framework. Similarly, Google has their own framework. So first of all, they have recommended the best practices for AI. Then there is a fairness, there is interpretability, and privacy and security. And European Union has also come up with their trustworthy AI framework. And here we have 7 key requirements. So one is human agency and oversight, technical robustness and safety, privacy and data governance, transparency, diversity, non-discrimination and fairness, environmental and societal well-being, and then finally accountability. This accountability is an important concept, because what happens if AI system makes mistake? Who is responsible? It is a very important question in the organizations, and this accountability becomes a very important aspect in responsible AI framework. So I think with this, my talk I have completed, and we can take up questions and answers as per what other people would like to know. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Bhagirat. That was a very good insight into AI and business. I would like to know, because you are in India in the moment, so as you just said in the end, in Europe we think that data, beside data, also trust is all for AI, so we talk about trustworthy AI. What is the strategy in AI in India? Do you follow a framework?
Actually, India, there is a agency called Niti Aayog. So Niti Aayog is responsible for making AI framework for India. So they have given their draft on their website, and it has a lot of provisions for AI. So one of their focus area is healthcare, agriculture, education, and then they also want to use AI for urban planning, or you can say smart cities, and then transportation and mobility. So that is another focus area. So what they are now focusing is they want to develop a center of excellence. So one is driven by government funding or state funding, and other is governed or driven by industry. So both the routes they are thinking, and they want AI which is for everybody. It should not be only for the privileged few. So that is what they are thinking about AI.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So now comes Natalie, a question from Natalie from Canada. So we are jumping now from Europe to Canada to India. Given current global pandemic, socio-economic challenges, would the use of a common data framework, such as the 17 SDGs of the UN Agenda 2030, Sustainable Development Goals are the SDGs, no? Enable aligned systemic solutions for a collective goal of a fair and peaceful world? Question? Shall I repeat?
Yeah, I think I missed out. Yeah.
I repeat. Given current global pandemic, socio-economic challenges, would the use of common data frameworks such as the 17 SDGs of UN Agenda 2030 enable aligned systemic solutions for a collective goal of a fair and peaceful world? It's not easy.
See, actually, the question is very complex, but what I would like to say is that AI can help in achieving UN's sustainable development goals. So a lot of research has been done in this particular area, and World Economic Forum has released many, studies and papers in this particular area. And I feel, for example, hunger, that is a big global problem. So AI can help in precision agriculture. AI can help in reduction of pesticides and those kind of herbicides. AI can help in proper management of food, for storage management, supply chain. So all these things will help in achieving the sustainable goals. So there are different sustainable goals. I have mostly read about these areas where AI is directly impacting. For example, climate change. There, AI can help in a great way, because AI can manage, optimize things. So carbon emission, for example, if the traffic is managed very properly, then the carbon emissions will be lesser. And then when our grids are managed properly using AI or machine learning, then there will be minimal waste for energy. And then the solar power, lot of optimization can be done using AI. So many of the UN's sustainable goal can be achieved using AI. So that is what my understanding is. I do not know about others, but definitely these two areas are very relevant for you.
Great, thank you. Wow, you gave a good answer. That's a complex question. So anyway, I have a question, because as we are now in India, do you have, in like a business wise, like we talked before about this trustworthy AI, do you have, I mean, not only in India, but do you have anywhere an example of trustworthy AI? Did you see something like that already? Do you have an example what that could be?
Actually, maybe it is meeting most of the requirements. That is what I would say. So there are two examples. One example is, this Google map. So it gives you navigation. So that navigation takes care of so many, aspects. And I think it is fair, it is transparent. You can see, I mean, it is taking the data from everybody. So many of the fair or responsible AI principles are, captured in this particular app. And you can see that Google search, for that matter, is not, it is not based on responsible AI, because it will rank based on, advertisements and other things. And some people can put malicious sites and other things also, and they can manipulate the ranking. But in case of navigation, Google Maps, I think this is a fair, I would say, responsible AI system. Another is there is a app by Microsoft. It is for is visually challenged people. So that app can describe the world to the visually challenged. So it is, I think, called Seeing AI, that particular app. So when people who are visually challenged, when they use the app, it can tell them what is in front of them, what is the scenery, or like, so those kind of things are now possible using AI. And I think that is a good example of a responsible AI system.
Yes, that's a good. Yes. Yes, and now a little bit personal. It's basically what excites you in the moment you in AI research most. What makes you really passionate?
Actually, I have been following AI since 2003 when I graduated. So I have followed AI system developments from that time. But I became especially interested in AI in 2016 when we had this AI project in our organization. So we organized a talk by an eminent AI expert, and I became very interested in this particular topic. And then when I read more about it, when I read the books from very different perspectives, for example, philosophy, society, how it is impacting the society, how it is impacting the nation. And then there are areas which require our concern. For example, autonomous weapons. Those are the areas which do require a lot of framework, AI safety requirements they need to meet. So I became very interested in this particular topic, and I have been following most of the updates, including the latest, update in AI, which is GPT-3. It is a very fantastic AI system, although it is restricted only to language, but the capabilities are very, very good. And I mean, it is very interesting to see what all you can achieve using such a system like GPT-3. And one very important thing which really makes me happy about AI is its use in healthcare. So healthcare cannot be afforded by each and every person, especially in the rural areas. AI system can help because a simple app can identify many of the conditions. So that is a great thing, and it can benefit millions, if we use AI in a responsible way. So that makes me very much interested in AI.
Yes, thank you. And I would like now to slowly stop our cafe session. Also, the questions are now answered. If anybody wants to ask more questions, please also write me or write to Bagirat. You see the email in the slide on the left side. So feel free to contact us and we try to answer. And also the presentation is available. So we will have a recording if Bagirat allows it. I'm going to send it to you, no? I told you. I'll now take back my super moderator role because I want to show you what's coming next.
Yeah, thank you.
Moment. Thank you. One moment. Let me see. Here. So, and this was Bagirat. One moment. Sorry. So next will be November 18th. And here we go. Sorry, this is a little bit dysfunctioning right now. Anyway, this I want to invite you next Wednesday to Stony Trent, because it's interesting. Today we have Bagheera from Delhi, and then we have Stony from US. So we're doing a little bit international travel to get different viewpoints. It's really interesting also for us Europeans to see how these trustworthy regulations feel like in other continents. So next week is Tony Trent. He will talk about approaches and lessons for trustworthy human-centered AI. So here we have again this word trustworthy in it. And so welcome to come back next week. And I wish you a wonderful afternoon, and thank you for coming to us.
Yeah, thank you everyone from India, and it was pleasure. Thanks once again.
Thank you everybody, and see you soon again. Bye bye.
Thank you.